so off on a tangent then, based on what we were talking about earlier, if I wanted to get, let's say I decide I want a Toyota Camry today, should I buy it or should I lease it? And what is the criteria that makes me decide?
Yeah. Okay, cool. If it was for you, if the Camry was going to be a personal asset that has no form of tax deduction attached to it, I think you should pay for it outright. Borrowing money for depreciating assets, which is what a car is because it goes down in value, is never smart. So if you can avoid it, if you have the money, then please don't do it. However, if that vehicle was used in your business enterprise, maybe you're a delivery driver, or maybe you're an Uber driver, maybe you're doing something like that, where you can offset the lease repayment, so a set repayment every 3 years, 5 years, and there's a bit of a deal, with the services and that. So you usually factored in. So you just have a monthly payment, and that's tax deductible to the income you're making using that vehicle. So that's a smarter way to do it, to get you some income stream, because you haven't had to outlay any capital. So when there's a business involved, protect your capital, right? Whereas if you're in the business and you put in $50,000 for your vehicle, I'll be like, no, what you should have done is lease it, because I want to keep your capital for something else. Maybe if you're in business, we can do something else with it. Or now that you've got income, you might be able to get a loan to buy something like a property, another thing that appreciates in value, and you need that capital. Whereas if it's your vehicle for your home, it's just your family, there's no tax deduction, I don't want to see you end up with a non-tax deductible monthly repayment to a vehicle that depreciates in value when you had the money there. It never sets the cash flow of your household well. That's rule of thumb. There's always some exceptions, but rule of thumb.
Right. What about I've heard some people they recommend, in this situation like you were talking about, of just say starting a home business with the only intent of creating a reason to claim stuff like your car on taxes. So start up a company that you don't even care if it makes any money, but it's there to be a going concern, so you can claim your home office and your car and your telephone bill and things like that as business expenses. Is that smart, or is that just well-intentioned but kind of useless?
No, it's okay, and I like people to be able to claim some of their lifestyle expenses in their business, because that means that you're paying for your expenses with before tax dollars, which is really important. Before tax dollars. Anyone who's really understood that concept, pretty simple. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Listen to some Kiyosaki stuff. It's 101. Have your business pay for your lifestyle, and therefore have the government tax systems taken out of that, because otherwise you've got to pay 30 cents a dollar tax and then buy your lifestyle, right? However, if the business that you're running doesn't make enough money to cover the expenses, then you weren't going to pay tax anyway. And so all you've done is create some losses. And so you at least want the income from that business to cover off on those expenses, so that you actually are getting a deduction against a positive figure. Because if you're making zero and you're running 20 grand worth of expenses, well, you've got no tax to offset, because you don't pay tax on zero. So you're not going to get the tax benefit because you weren't paying any. And I said, I'm running a home-based business. I'm like, how much money do you make? $8,000 a year. What are your expenses? 35. You're not really paying, because you probably wouldn't pay tax on $8,000. It's not even above 20, right? So you're good intentioned, and if the business, you have to have your business thinking that you're going to succeed. You shouldn't be mucking around with a business. Even a hobby business, you have a goal to get to some level. As long as your goal is to be successful, well, then it makes sense to start claiming things in the first couple of years where you don't make money, and then eventually you'll catch up and it'll be okay. However, if you think you're ripping off the taxman by having all these expenses, you go out and you buy all this camera equipment and all sorts of stuff, but you don't make any money, well, you haven't ripped the taxman off at all. All you've done is buy some equipment because you never paid the tax to rip it back from him. So I don't know. Look, simple things for people to understand. Look, I more encourage people to be successful. If you are paying tax, it usually means you're making money. That's not a terrible thing. Then we can worry about some tax deductions. Focus on actually making dough.